All right, there we go.
Okay.
Testes, it ain't working.
Okay, Chris Brown.
All right, so now we have to
the
clap.
rapper.
So do the clap meme.
Welcome to the new
we're just
episode
starting.
of Banter Boys. You know, like Wiener Schnitzel. Yes,
Yes?
I think so.
So,
Lou, why don't you go ahead and introduce our guest stars today?
so as always, there's us, myself, Lucas McDaniel, joined by Jack Stahl, Michael Minnick, and Joseph Mitchell. And our guest stars who will be joining us later in the show include MTV's Dan Cortese, Henry Bankshaft, a special performance of Toto by Africa, Hannibal Buress, Josh. You guys started laughing. You ruined me.
I'm sorry, I apologize. Just
Josh Radner, the NSA, of course, and apparently Academy Award nominated Liam Neeson.
all right.
Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh.
It's good to be here.
Liam, you don't need to be here until later in the show. We're gonna have a whole interview thing. So you can head back to the green room for now. Yeah, sorry about Liam, everyone.
I don't think he's out of the NSA, Mike.
I didn't put that.
Joe.
Oh. Goodness.
Oh man.
So,
Oh man.
Halloween's on Tuesday.
Oh man.
Yeah, a funny thing about that is all last week for some reason I mean it's on the 31st of every October.
Yeah, I
right?
just learned that
is?
this year.
and I forgot about that. And so last week I see these people like at my apartment place sitting out in the little area outside their doors, just like hanging out. And they had like Halloween decorations up, so I'm thinking, okay, it's Halloween. People are like trick-or-treating here or something, which doesn't make sense because I live in a college town in Orlando, so
Everyone
would be
has candy.
trick-or-treating. But yeah, I mean, I would have gone and got candy, but I was like, oh man, it's Halloween today, and I was gonna text everyone and be like, hey, happy Halloween, and then I got back to my apartment and I'm like, I feel like I would know if today was Halloween though. And so I like look at my phone on the calendar and I'm like, it's not today, so I don't know what those people were doing, but if they have candy, I'm gonna go back and get it. Be sure
Did
of
they
that.
have candy?
No,
That's a real bummer.
just sadness and lies.
Yeah, no, so I can tell that Jack just learned this, but yeah, I just learned this year that it is the 31st of every October. So
Yeah.
I don't know, just things I didn't know apparently, and
Just like Thanksgiving's always on a Friday.
Like,
I don't know about that.
shut up.
Oh no, that's Black Friday. Never mind.
No, but yeah, it's just one of those things that you get to be made fun of constantly for just not knowing. Like, I don't know, I don't pay attention.
A lot
I
of people
guess.
don't know this
I
because they
don't
don't
know
really look at it
anything.
this way, but Easter is the 11th Tuesday of every year as well.
Yeah, I've heard that, but I
Ooh,
don't.
really?
Yes.
I was
I just don't like counting things,
Yeah, I don't either. That's why I can't make change.
For like a 20.
well,
I think
No,
he just
like
means
Obama.
very generous.
if you want to make a change, you have to take a look at the man in the mirror, Joe.
Be the man you want to
That's
see.
that's what Michael Jordan said one time. In his
my
hit
word.
song Thriller. Speaking of Thriller, Halloween is right around the corner.
I think it's on Tuesday.
Funny story about that. I thought it was last Wednesday for some reason.
Okay, Mike.
There was these people.
Getting too bad.
Does anyone have any plans, or did you do anything?
I'm gonna work with a
Solid.
whole lot of will to live assured.
I don't think I'm gonna do anything except I think I have a class that evening, so that puts a real damper on everything.
When is Halloween again?
God
Tuesday.
damn it.
Mike, you told me this.
Yeah, no, I said Thanksgiving.
Oh, he's right.
Oh. Well,
No, I don't know. I don't know what my plans are. It's Tuesday. What? Oh, I have class in the morning, and then probably watch a lot of Stranger Things. Although I have a feeling tomorrow I'm gonna finish season 2 because I'm already halfway through and it just came out.
I haven't even started it yet, or I've like gone through season 1. I haven't started the second season yet.
I finished it on Friday.
Jeez.
Holy cow!
I feel like it's not. I don't know. I don't know if watching Stranger Things season 2 is.
Mike, stop adding special guests.
Dude,
They
Optimus
just
Prime's
keep
gonna
coming
be
in,
here.
dude. Oh yeah,
No,
he just
he
talked
went back
to
to
me.
Cybertron at the end of the last movie. He's dickweeds.
Oh yeah, that's right. Optimus secondary.
It's his less known stepbrother.
Joe.
Oh yeah, from Lion King.
Like Lion King.
this is very visual.
Why is one
joke.
bullet point smaller, or like a few of them are smaller than the rest of them?
Because the smaller the bullet point, the more important the guest.
What?
That's why,
Oh wow, I didn't even notice
why
that.
MTV's
Yeah, Hannibal Buress isn't very important here, is he?
No, the smaller it is, the more important they are.
Oh.
That's why Dan Cortese is so small. He
What
just
about
grew.
Toto by Africa?
No one cares about the musical guest. Like, I'm sorry.
When's he stopping by?
Guys,
Probably somewhere around the end. Why are you squishing Dan
I'm
Cortese?
giving
Dan
him a normal
Cortese is
face.
squishing.
It's too thin. This is where it was before. That's a thin face. Now compare it to that.
No, I think the other one looks fine.
Okay, this is just too much, Mike. I don't know what you mean.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Let me fix it.
Hold on, guys. I got this. Give me a second here.
Wait, guys, you have to give him that good there.
Ah!
This is a million times more visual than the last one when we were like, wow, this is really visual.
Yep. Alright, so,
Uh-huh. You just,
Rumham Petrus.
good segue into the new South Park game. Which I believe Joe's trying to get me
The
to talk
fractured
about.
butthole.
Yes. I played it. I haven't beat it yet because I wasn't playing Friday because I was watching Stranger Things. Then I wasn't playing Saturday because Assassin's Creed also came out.
wait, are you
But,
playing Assassin's Creed?
I've played like the first story mission,
Oh, okay.
Noise.
So,
but
between the two, since they're very comparable game styles,
oh, definitely.
yeah, which one do you like more? And do you think it's controversial that they put them out together so close in a release date?
Well, they almost put them out on the same day,
Oh, that would have been terrible.
but
Who
you know,
now?
Such a
What?
such a
South-
separation of fans.
but you know, it wouldn't have mattered because then it would have been split 4 ways instead of 3, because Assassin's Creed, Wolfenstein, and Mario all came out on the same day.
Oh, that's right.
Oh
Actually,
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I'm very excited to get the new Mario. I am sort of debating when I should purchase it. I just very very excited for it though. I've seen some gameplay and it looks amazing, and it's gonna take me right back to Nintendo 64, and I am so excited.
Dude, they did not have Assassin's Creed for Nintendo 64.
Wait, hold on.
I believe they did have a South Park game for Nintendo 64.
What?
Did they really? No.
I think the first game on the N64 was GTA San Andreas. I'm pretty sure, but
Yes, the They had,
You know what used to
they had
confuse me is
multiple
I
games
thought the Nintendo
the
64
N64
was actually released in 64,
so,
and I was like, nope, that's not it.
Didn't
on the
come out.
on the Nintendo 64 they had South Park, Chef's Love Shack, and South Park Rally.
Nice. South Park cart.
Probably.
So I don't want to like rain on your parade or anything, Mike, or anyone who else, but this is clearly Assassin's Creed 3 for the N64. So,
Well, if that's what you want to call it.
I mean, it says that right there. I don't know like how you can say this isn't
Yeah, I remember
Assassin's Creed
like,
on the N64.
sophomore year of high school, I really wanted to play Assassin's Creed 3, so I got myself an N64.
Oh yeah, I know. Like yeah. In all seriousness, there was a back in the game. I don't know why I'm back in the day. I don't know why I'm thinking about this. But there was the first Spider-Man game I want to say on the original Xbox. That was an amazing game. Anybody ever play that? Because
No.
that's like a lot of nostalgia for me.
I've played 2 Spider-Man games. I played Spider-Man 3 on the Wii, so that was
On the
bad.
Wii?
Yeah,
They had it on the Wii?
I didn't have an Xbox or anything back then, so I got it on the Wii,
Yeah.
and they were like 100% motion controls, but guess what's not good? Motion controls.
Motion controls. Wasn't that most of the games they released?
I couldn't
were
get
they?
past like the first boss because it just wouldn't register when I was doing the QuickTime stuff.
That's really unfortunate.
And then
Wee.
Amazing Spider-Man on Xbox.
Okay, yeah.
It was okay. It wasn't anything special.
What was your guys' like first like console game? Like the first one you were like, wow, this is amazing. Like 10 out of 10 graphics, 10 out of 10 storyline, like everything. IGN 11 out of 10.
Ocarina of Time for me, which is like really super generic, but as a young child, for some reason, we had an N64 and nothing else, because remember, I lived in Africa for a short stint,
Right.
but we had an N64. So, yeah, Ocarina of Time.
So
That
you
is
know,
tough.
speaking of Joe, real quick. Sorry to interrupt, Lou, but
You're good. I'm thinking.
I remember when Joe came back. Joe's been like one of my best friends since it was 3rd grade, right? Mrs.
Yeah, 3rd
Adams
grade.
class and all that.
Oh my gosh.
Oh
Mrs.
yeah,
Adams.
good times. It was a long time ago.
That was
But
a
yeah,
real long
he
time.
shows up and I'm like, okay, this kid seems like he's kind of cool. But the point that I knew that we would be like real good friends is when Mrs. Adams was like, or maybe it wasn't her, but one of the teachers says, "So, what's the thing you missed most about Africa or about the U.S. when you lived in Africa?" And he said, "Orange juice." And I said, "You're pretty damn right about that." Like, he's on the right track. I think I want to be friends with this guy.
Yeah, I mean, orange juice is delicious. I'm not gonna lie. I still relish every chance I have to drink it.
I can't really remember
How do you?
what my first console game that really affected me is, so I'm just gonna say it was honestly probably one of the Assassin's Creed games, like with story and stuff.
Mine, by
Like,
far.
maybe Revelations.
Yeah, that would make sense. Mine was Scooby-Doo Cyber Chase on the PS1.
Honestly, great choice.
It was amazing. I remember playing it and just being like, oh my goodness, it's like these villains have a mind of their own, even though they were on the same track every time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they never varied. They took the same patterns all the time. And
Maybe-
if like you played through it now, you could beat it in like a second just because of basic timing. But like at the time, I was like, oh my goodness, how do I get past these boys?
Maybe just because of like my childlike wonder, it might have been like Super Mario Galaxy 2.
Oh yeah.
Because I
That's
didn't
fair.
start playing games
No.
until like the Wii came out.
Yeah, no,
Guys,
I didn't. Well, I had a PS2, or I had a PS1 and a PS2, but then when we got the Wii and stuff, because like PS1, PS2, all I used to play was Crash Bandicoot.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
My first video game ever was Pokemon Emerald.
I'm pretty sure my first video game ever was for Game Boy Color. Yeah, Game Boy Color. It was a Tonka. Shoot, what was it called? I own it now. Currently, it's like, yeah, no, it was like a Tonka construction site game.
I think my first
I
game.
think that was honestly my favorite. My first game.
My first game was Game Boy Advance,
Was it?
Super Mario Brothers 3, and that was like the game.
Yeah, me too, man.
Dude, Super Mario
Oh,
Bros.
no,
3 is amazing.
mine was Wario World or whatever.
Joe?
Gotcha.
Wario World. Yeah,
Wario
Was
World
it
cool.
Tonka Raceway or Tonka Construction Site?
construction site. That's the one.
He's like, it's that one. It's like a Tonka construction site thing. Yeah, I don't know what it's called.
You gotta
but-
ask if it was Raceway though. I mean, like, it's just his nature.
Well, there were two options for the Game Boy Color.
Well, I told you it was a construction site. I just sort of figured maybe you'd assume it was a construction site.
I think I was listening.
Oh, that's fair.
Not in like a offensive way. I don't pay attention to a lot of things.
Mhm.
So
What were we talking about?
I don't
Oh.
remember.
Oh, I never answered that.
Oh yeah,
The
what was
game.
your the first game that affected you in a major way.
First game I don't
Console
know.
game.
It would either
Console
be
game.
Call of Duty. I forget which one it was too, but it was like one of the original ones where it was always
Was
like
it World
War II
World
stuff.
at War? Sorry.
I think it was, yeah. But the
Yeah, it
problem
was a
was
great
there was
game.
this mission that I could never pass, so I just completely quit playing it.
Was
like
it-
I don't even know what I was supposed to do.
Was
I
it
think
one
it was
where
like
you had to
glitching
shoot
out.
rocket launchers at tanks?
Yeah,
Because
It would,
that's
like,
that's
glitch
the
out.
last mission I played in that game too.
and I was like, I'm gonna give up on this. But probably the one that I like spent the most time on was when the Batman Arkham games came out, just because like the storylines were
Those
really
games
cool.
are so good.
Oh yeah, I actually got like I had Arkham Asylum like shortly after it came out, and then I had Arkham City right when it came out, and then I kind of stopped playing Xbox a whole lot. So,
I actually played.
but then before I came down here, I got Arkham Origins too. So, still haven't played it, but
I actually played
I'm gonna try
Arkham
it.
City first, and then I was like telling my friends how awesome it was. And then for one of my birthdays, they got me Asylum, so I played them out of order. So like
Yeah,
the whole plot of the first game didn't really affect me, 'cause they like tell you the whole thing in city, but it was still fun.
It was cool because like of all the different things you could do, but at the same, it was also cool like the story was it was really interesting, and then like I remember in Asylum where basically the whole story starts over, but you're like Batman gets captured and the Joker's bringing him in instead of the opposite way.
Oh yeah,
I thought that was
The
really
Scarecrow
cool.
gas.
Like all the Scarecrow stuff,
Mhm.
yeah, it was.
I loved the
I
Scarecrow.
don't know, I enjoyed
Like
it.
just
I think I
in,
played
as a
that
general
game.
sense.
Mhm.
Like in Batman
from Wizard of
Begins.
Oz.
No, like in Batman Begins.
You know,
Yeah, Killian
Speaking of
Murphy.
Batman
Kid's a good
Begins.
actor.
I love the Dark Knight series. It's so good.
Hey, well, that's for later. Don't touch that.
Um,
Because like some people
you
don't like
guys-
the first or the third one in
I
that
was gonna
series,
say,
but
could
I
you guys
loved
rank
it. I loved all of them.
the Nolan Batman movies.
Ooh, yes.
I would
feel
say
very
Dark
strongly.
Knight at number 1, Dark Knight Rises number 2, and then Batman Begins 3.
I'd say Dark
would
Knight
agree.
first, and then the other two are tied.
I would say the opposite, just
Mm-hmm.
to piss you off.
I'm upset.
Well,
No,
Why do you think Batman Begins better, Joe?
I was gonna agree.
Give me a
with you
3-page
guys.
essay.
No.
5 paragraph
but
intro, introduce
no.
3 ideas, 3
What I
paragraphs,
have,
conclusion,
what I
easy A,
what I
college
do have
writing.
to say though is I kind of gave up on watching movies with Batman in it once Christian Bale wasn't Batman anymore.
I agree.
That's
Just because he
fair.
was my favorite. Like I loved him as Batman.
That's fair.
I mean, you go from George Clooney to Christian Bale, you know.
Hot take. I like the
Remember
the new
when
DC
Batman had
movies.
nipples?
Oh, I don't like remembering that.
Wait, which DC movies you talking about?
The new ones, like Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad.
Oh
I
yeah.
enjoyed them both.
So you're
You know,
They're not
you're on
great,
board with
but
that?
they're not great, but they're not like the pieces of garbage everyone says they are.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, you know what I hate is how many movies Marvel is coming out with. Like I get that they're banking in on it because people are gonna go see it.
Yeah.
But it's just like I lost interest after like how many Avengers are there now? Like there's 3 of them, 3 Avengers movies, right?
There's 2, and Civil
But
War is
then there
kind
was-
of Avengers 3.
Yeah, because each movie now is having like the new Ragnarok one, Thor,
Well, that
Hulk,
one they
I
Doctor
can't.
characters in
Strange
it.
is in it. Like
they put the
you know.
characters that aren't in Civil War.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
And I was just like, I liked Iron Man movies, I liked Captain America movies, and I liked the Avengers movies. They were good, but there's just so many of them now. It's like I don't even want to go
My
see
thing
them.
is, I just can't get like around superhero movies because there's just nothing compelling about them. The only thing that's ever compelling is it's like you reach that generic bump in the storyline. It's like you can save these X number of people, or you can save the one you love, and they're like, no, and then that's it.
That's what the X-Men movies are doing really well now, because a lot of people think superhero movies is a genre, but it's not at all. Like, they made a comedy with Deadpool and a western with Logan, and the New Mutants movie is going to be a horror.
Yeah.
Like, it's not
Oh,
the
cool.
superhero genre, it's genre movies with
Well,
superheroes.
And that was the whole reason that I liked the Dark Knight trilogy so much, was because rather than being like your typical superhero movie, it wasn't like watching a superhero movie. It was like just watching an action movie.
Yeah.
Like the storyline was very deep and thought out, and it wasn't just like, oh hey guys, we're gonna team up and go kick some ass, you know.
They kind of
It's
try to
like-
do that with the Captain America movies. Like, all 3 of them are very different. The first one's a war movie, the second one's like a political thriller, and the third one's kind of just an action movie.
Yeah,
I really,
I see what you're saying.
I don't know. I see what Mike's saying with the Batman though, just because everything in it's like an action movie in the sense that everything's fairly practical. Like, as far as superhero standards go, it's very like realistic. This guy's just got real buff technology, and the other guy's just psychotic. It's just taken out a little farther than usual. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
well, that's why the MCU started with Iron Man, because like he's kind of the most grounded character in that universe.
Yeah.
It's this rich guy in a fancy suit fighting another rich guy in a different fancy suit.
A slightly
Not the
scarier
same fancy
suit.
suit.
And it's almost the same. Same blueprints.
Same seamstress, but different collection.
Do you guys remember
You know,
in Blue's Clues when they had the blueprints over things?
Huh?
Yeah.
All right, just making sure we were on the same page.
I don't think anyone was even in that book, honey.
It's fun.
do
It's
you,
fun.
Remember in Blue's
you
Clues when
know-
they would jump into books?
Oh my
paintings.
gosh.
Remember when they got a really comically sized letter, and you were like, ha, look at that letter.
And do you remember Blue's like really profound monologue?
Words of a
oh my
generation.
gosh, dude. Speaking of shows like that, by the way, if you have not watched the Dave Chappelle Netflix stand-up specials, they are gold. Like, they're so good. He's like one of my favorite comedians, and he was talking about, he's like, you know, back in the day we used to have this show called the Care Bears. You remember the Care Bears? And he's like talking about them and stuff, and he says, well, they used to have this thing where whenever they got into trouble and there was some shit that scared them, they would just do this thing called the Care Bear Stare.
I
Which
haven't even
is
seen the
just-
special. I just know about it.
He goes, all they did was they would just look at whatever the problem was and stare at it real hard and just start caring, and then it would just vanquish anything that was trying to kill them.
Oh my.
It's like, this is gold. Like, this is reminding me of my childhood.
My favorite Care
It's like
Bear
they
was the
just were these
lion,
little
because
bears
he's
that
not even a
cared.
bear.
You like him because he's not a bear. Your favorite
Yeah.
bear is a bear is not a bear.
Yeah, my favorite bear is the lion.
That's fair, I guess. I mean,
Dude, do you remember? I don't even know what this show was called. There was this
Lions in the library.
Yes.
What?
No, wait, hold on. No,
are you
no,
talking
no,
about
no.
was
Between
like,
the
dang.
Lions?
Between the what?
Between the Lions on PBS.
Yeah.
Was it like there
That
was
was it.
like it was yeah. No, that was let me look it up too just to be sure, but I'm pretty sure that's it.
I don't know why. I was like,
Let's see.
we were talking about lions, and he said, "Remember this." There it is.
Let me see if this is it cuz I don't remember it much, but I have a really interesting story about that. Yep, it was Between the Lions. Oh man. Wow, looking
that
at
takes
these
me
pictures
back.
now, that is terrifying.
Wait, let me look.
A
Wow.
lot of kid shows with puppets are kind of terrifying.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Now
No
I
wonder.
remember
Okay,
this.
because the story that I was going to tell you is basically that there was one episode. I don't really know what happened exactly, but like one of the lions. Maybe I'm completely not remembering this wrong, but one of the lions grew like antlers or something for some reason.
That sounds like something that would happen.
Sounds like
And
you're thinking of a deer.
Well, I know. I don't know if it was that or what, but that show creeped me out for some reason. And I remember as a kid, I was like woke up one night like screaming because I thought I had grown antlers, and I like, was patting all over my head.
Oh,
I'm like,
look
no,
at
no,
this.
no. And then I'm like, oh, okay, I don't have antlers, and I just went back to bed.
Between the Lions, episode 10, Lionel's antlers.
Oh my word.
No,
Lionel wakes up one morning with a strange set of antlers on his head. Interesting.
Huh.
I'm looking that up, buddy.
That's so. Speaking of dreams, the other night I slept, and when I woke up, I was like, I just had a dream where I put mayonnaise and peanut butter together on a spoon, and I ate it.
You got your mayonnaise and my peanut butter.
Oh my gosh,
But
he's not
apparently it
even
was good.
kidding,
So I
dude.
dreams.
Maybe I'll
Lucas
try
is
that.
not kidding. This is legit. I have not seen this in a long time.
Oh my word. Yeah. Okay.
That is funny.
Oh, they turned him into a
Wow.
coat rack. That's funny.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hold on, guys. I think
if
I
you had
can
antlers,
watch
what
it.
would you do with them? It's like half an hour.
Yeah, it's on a anime website for some reason.
Kiss anime.
Oh, one of those kinky anime websites.
No, it's watchcartoononline.io, but it has anime on it. I don't know why it says cartoon, but because I think it has both.
Yeah, probably just has everything.
Gonna see if I can get this to play. It's one of those ones that has a lot of really clickbait things that are funny to read because they're really bad.
Dude, I don't know, man. That's weird.
These Slavic stunners are looking for a single man in Canton. Well,
What?
that's strangely specific.
Did you say stoners?
Did you say
Slavic
Slavic?
stunners. Slavic, yeah.
Hey, that's
Did you
me.
say stunners?
Uh,
Like Stone Cold Steve Austin?
These gorgeous Latinas need a man.
Wrestler.
See,
What are you
Jack-
waiting
Jack,
for?
Jack, you say stop, but it was in green,
I know,
so
that's,
I think that
that's
means
the
go.
point. It's a green stop. And really,
to confuse
if you
them.
make both things
You know-
green, is it really any? Stop
Okay.
switching them.
Jack, look at how stop is spelled though. Like when you look at it, it doesn't look. If you stare at it for too long, like put it back in green for a sec, for real. If you put it back in green,
No, the whole thing.
it
Lou,
doesn't.
stop.
It doesn't look like it's a real word. Like it's not like a word you've seen
Where?
before.
Oh, God.
You better Control Z that shit. Or Command Z for our Mac users, aka
No
me.
one.
Oh, somebody's pandering. It's Mike.
Still know I'm pandering.
Oh,
Nice.
that's a great song.
Oh yeah. No, like stop in red looks right, but as soon as you put it in green, it looked like a completely different word to me. I might have dyslexia.
You might have something like that.
Dyslexia.
Sure.
Could be. Does somebody want to explain to me the difference between chartreuse and chart juice?
Oh, there's a big difference.
One's a color, and one's a refreshing sports drink.
Okay,
Respectively.
so I gotta tell you guys a crazy story. Hint: Mike's crazy story.
Ah, okay.
I think Lucas knows some of this. I think I told him before.
Ow.
But no, I definitely did. The time that I was out with what's his name? This was like right when I moved down here.
That was vague.
Dylan. I was out with him. He's like, dude, have you heard about the new like mall that they put up? Like it's not new, but it's like a newer place down here. And I'm like, yeah, no, like I haven't been there. And he's like, all right, oh, you want to go? I'm like, yeah, sure. So we go to the mall, right? First off, this place is huge. I didn't know this was such a thing. Like you know, because back home there's not really. I mean, there's a couple malls that are big, but nothing like this big.
Yeah, we have pretty
And
small
so
malls.
oh yeah, and we go in there, and he says, yo, well, hold up, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. And he's like, you can just go on wherever, just text me and I'll just come find you. I'm like, okay, that's fine. So he goes into the bathroom and I start walking around, and I walked into a Hot Topic, and
Classic.
looked. Yeah, no, yeah, I know. I looked in there for a little while. I didn't find anything, but I was just kind of trying to waste time until he got out, because I knew like if I didn't wait for him, he was probably gonna get lost, or I was gonna get lost, I should say. So.
Someone
I'm
was
just
getting
like waiting
lost.
around. Oh yeah, someone was gonna get lost. So I was like, you know, I should probably give him a text, see like if he came out yet. So I texted him. I'm like, hey dude, you out yet? And he said, no, I'm still in here. I'll be a few minutes. I'm like, okay, that's fine. So I just keep walking around like store to store, whatever. And I get down to the other end of the mall. There's like this food court. And so I'm just sitting there. I'm like, at least this is like a wide open area. Like if I tell him, hey, come to the food court, he'll know what I'm talking about. So I text him. I'm like, hey, man, I don't know if you're out yet, but I'm down at the food court. And he said, no, I'm still in here, but I'll head that way in a second. I should be done soon. I said, okay. So mind you, he's been in there for like 30 minutes now.
Man.
And so I know. And I was like,
That's either really
okay.
healthy or really not.
What do you mean really
that's what I was
healthy?
thinking.
You know, you're getting it all out.
But so yeah, we walked down there into the food court and stuff, and this really really short Asian man, like 4 foot nothing, comes over to me, and he asked me if I was from around here, and I said no, I'm here for school, and he's like, oh, and he just kind of like stopped and looked at me for a sec, and he's like, well, never mind then. And then he just walked away.
What?
And I was like,
He was going to steal
what?
you.
But
But
he
only
was
if
so
you were
small. I'm
local.
like, he's definitely not going to steal me. And so I'm like, this is weird, man. Like, there's some weird people around here. So I'm like, you know, I'm going to walk away from this because this is getting kind of weird. So I go down into a Sears, and they had like escalators in there. So I'm just riding the escalators, waiting on him. And I text him again, and I'm like, dude, are you about done? Like, 'cause this is getting weird. And he's like, no, don't worry about me. I'll find you. I'm done. I'm heading out. And I was like, all right, well, I'm in Sears on the escalator. And he's like, okay. And I said,
I'll be on the
not going to be
escalator
on
for
the
hours.
I was like, I'm probably not going to be on the escalator when you get here, but I'll be in Sears. So just text me when you're here. So I'm like, I got so like bored of riding the escalators. Which, how do you do that? Like, escalators are so much fun. So
Mike, are you 12?
Yes. No, literally, when we went to New York, I think it was Justin and I forget who else came with us. All we did when we were in the Sears was ride the escalators all the way up and then all the way back down.
I don't know if
in
I've ever
middle
even been in a
school, look
Sears.
How have you not
Well,
been in a
that's
Sears?
Sears.
That's one of the entrances to like the one of the entrances to like the Carnation Mall.
Mm-hmm. Wait, is it?
No.
Yeah, it is. No,
That closed.
Elder Beerman.
Elder Beerman. Yeah.
And
No,
JCPenney.
there was a really small Sears. It wasn't an entrance, but it's closed now because nothing survives there. Our mall destroys them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm like done on the escalators. I go up, and I mean, like I said, this mall's huge. So there, in just the Sears alone, there was like 3 floors. So I go up to the 3rd floor, and I'm just walking around up there, and they had like dryers and washers and all that stuff, like appliances, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, this is a weird place to have appliances. Like, why would they put appliances on the 3rd floor? Why not the 1st? Like, it'd be a lot easier to move them. And so I asked this guy. I was like, hey, because I'm bored out of my mind. I still haven't seen this dude, and I've been in the mall for an hour. And he says, I asked this. No, Lou, I've told you about this, haven't I?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind that. But he, so I go up to this employee, and I said, so this is gonna sound like a weird question, but why would you have like appliances and stuff up here? And like they had like appliances, bed frames, like little things like that, or not little things, big things like that. And I'm like, why would you have them up here? Because, I mean, I know there's an elevator, but that's got to be a hassle to move everything up here. And he says, oh yeah, it's honestly a real hassle. I don't know why we did this. And so he's like just talking to me for a while, and he's like, he introduced himself to me or whatever, and I said, yeah, I'm Mike. And he's like, all right, so you from around here? And I said, no, I'm just here for college. And he says, oh.
Like the same thing.
And then just walked away. But this guy wasn't a short Asian man. He was just another.
No, he walked away and turned the
guy.
corner, and then he took off his trench coat, and the Asian man ran out from under him.
He was just double checking.
And, but no, he's like, oh, okay. And he just looked at me for a second, and then he walked away. I'm like, oh, okay, something weird's happening here. Like,
maybe that guy and the Asian guy were working together to steal you.
That's what I was thinking. And I'm like, maybe they ship people, like when shipments come in, they put like bodies in the freezers and like ship them off into the ocean or something. And so I'm like, this is so weird. I'm gonna leave. So I'm like, hey, I text my buddy. I'm like, hey, dude, I'm going down. I'm gonna leave Sears because this is getting weird. And he's like, oh, that's all right. I'm walking around right now. I'll probably see you. Like, I just passed Sears. And I said, okay.
Why didn't he say anything?
I don't know. To this day, I have no clue. And so I walk out, and he says, he texts me, and he's like, hey, I think I saw you. Or did you just go into JCPenney? And I said, no. And he's like, what? No, Mike, I definitely saw you. I'm like, no, dude, I'm just walking out of Sears. No, and he was like, it could have been because it was like huge, but he's like, dude, I just saw you. Like, quit playing around. I'm like, no, dude, I'm standing right here. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna walk into JCPenney then and see if he's in there. I said, just go into JCPenney if you think it's me. I'm heading that way anyways. So I go in there. And I see him, like, down the aisle a little bit, so I walk over to him, and I was like, hey, what's up? And he looked at me, and he said, oh, nothing, I'm just looking at these shirts here. I was wondering, like, how much they are. And I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? And he's like, oh, are you not an employee here? And I said,
what?
Dude, you're messing with me. It's me. And he's like, I don't really know what you mean, but I was like, dude, you just texted me and said you'd be in JCPenney. He's like, how did you know I texted my friend?
What?
And he said, you must be, he's probably,
like?
Well, no, he goes, you must be that guy that I saw that walked in here, because you look like my friend Mike, and he texted me saying that it wasn't him. So he must have just, like, he's messing with me, right? He sent you in here and he's like having you mess with me, and I'm like, no, dude, you're thinking way too hard about this. It's me. And he's like, yeah, okay. So he walks away.
I think you need smarter friends.
Yeah,
And
for
I'm
real.
like-
Who is this guy?
I'm like, what in the world is happening? So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to wait this out because eventually he's going to want to leave. And I'm going to be like, hey, I'll meet you at the car, and I'll just meet him there. So I walk around a couple of different places, and eventually he texts me, and he said, Mike, that was really funny what you did back there, but seriously, where are you? Because I'm still in JCPenney looking for you. You said you were coming here, and I said, dude, I literally just talked to you. And he's like, no, dude, that wasn't even you. I'm like, oh, my. So I'm like, you know what, I'm not even going to bother texting this dude right now. I said, just let me know when you're done. I'll meet you at the car, and we'll just go from there. And he's like, okay, that's fine. So, I mean, mind you, we've been in here for about 2 hours at this point, right?
Christ.
I mean, it's a big mall, so it wasn't, like, super boring, but it was just weird.
I wouldn't
I'm
have
like,
the
what
patience
in
for
the
that.
world is
I'd like
happening?
walk home.
I was so upset, and so he's like, I was like, you know, I'm not texting him. I'll just wait until he texts me and says he's leaving. So they had like really fancy stores here, like what's that? Why can't I think of what it's called? It's like a
Macy's.
they had like a Gucci store. They had a it's like a really high-end place. I can't think of what it's called.
Spencer's.
Yeah. The Five and Dime.
Yeah.
No, you know,
7-Eleven.
like Louis Vuitton, stuff like that, like just big name, high-end clothes and stuff.
Mhm.
And so I'm like walking around in that area, and I walked in to this Louis Vuitton store just because I'm wasting time, right? Well, in here apparently they like while you're shopping and stuff, if they think that you're actually gonna buy something, they give you champagne, and you like sit there and they like have you try stuff on
Oh, my
and all this
word.
stuff. Oh yeah, that's fancy. And so I'm like, I walk in and they look at me, and
Who's this poor
he's like,
kid?
They just flip him off.
he's like, are you?
They start
he's like,
spitting
are you
on
actually
him.
gonna buy something? He's like, are you actually gonna buy something, sir? And I said, I'm kind of offended that you said that. And he's like, well, we take our jobs here very seriously, and like.
What do you
we don't
mean
just
you
let
take
people
your
come in
job
here."
very seriously? Taking your job seriously
Well,
doesn't mean kicking people
because
to the
their
curb.
clothes were. Well, yeah, but their clothes are really expensive, and you can tell who should be in there and who shouldn't be. I was one of those people who shouldn't have been, and so I'm like, you know what? I'm not dealing with this. I'll just leave. I'm gonna go tell this dude, like, let's go, let's leave. So I text him, and I said, hey, are you about done? And he's like, yeah, I haven't really found anything, so I'm ready to head home. And I was like, all right, good. I'll just meet you at your car, and we'll go from there. And he's like, okay, that's fine. See you there. So I walk out to the car, which we rode in together to get there, by the way. So I know where
Premise.
it's at.
Okay.
And he says, I see him coming over, and he says, hey, so what was with that guy back there?
Oh my
I said,
god.
guy? And he's like, yeah, the guy that you sent in. And I was just like, what are you talking about, dude? That was
That
me,
little
I'm telling
Asian
you."
man.
And then he's like, no, dude, like things have just been weird. Like this guy came up to me and he looked just like you, and he was trying to convince me that he was you. And I'm like, you idiot, that was me. And he's like, well, if that's true, like that wasn't the only weird thing though. I'm like, well, what was weird? And he goes, well, this little 4-foot tall Asian man came.
Oh
up
my
to me."
word!
And he says, he was talking to me, and he said, so are you from around here? Like, do you live in town? And he said, well, I live here, but I'm not from here. And I'm here for school. Because, I mean, this is the guy that I go to school with. So he's like, he did the same thing to him. He goes, oh, okay. And then he walked away. And I'm like, no, dude. That guy said the same thing to me. And he was like, yeah, and then I was walking around in Sears too, and I was talking to this employee, and he said, are you from around here? And I said, no, I'm like live here, but I'm here for school. And the employee that's apparently, I'm assuming it was the same employee as the one that talked to me, says, oh, okay. And he just walked away. And so I'm like, this is really weird. Why is all this going on? Like, what's happening? And
Then
So
Ashton
it
Kutcher
was-
came out.
Yeah, and so he says, "You've been punked."
Yeah.
But no, so we're like on the car ride home. It's really weird. Like we're trying to figure out what in the world all that was. So we get back, and we're like, all right, well, have a nice day, because he lives here too. So he like lives on the other side though. So he's going back to his place. I'm going back to mine, and I get back in there in my apartment thing, and I get online and on like Facebook and Twitter and all the social media stuff, and I get this message from him on Twitter, like from my friend, and he says, "Hey, dude, you got to check this out." And he linked me this what do you call it? Like a news link, right?
Yeah.
And it was something that happened at the mall when we were there, and he apparently, this Asian man and this Sears employee were like, I don't even know how the article said it, but it basically, they had been asking people that same question all day, like just these same two people that had nothing to do with each other. No one could find any link between them. It wasn't like they were friends and they were just messing with people. And so I'm like, what in the world? So the article goes on, and it says, it's like telling the whole story, and it goes on and on and on. And it eventually, at the end, it says, it was a quote, and it said, "You idiots just believed a whole story that I just made up." And the quote was by Mike
I
Minnick.
hate you.
Christ.
As soon as you said "you idiots," I was like, "Oh my god, no!"
I was really into that story.
Yeah, me too. I was really invested in the characters.
was
The short
so
little Asian man. I thought he was supposed to represent the change we wanted to see in the world.
I was gonna go off on this whole rant about how stupid your friend was if he rode there in the car with you and he saw you wearing those clothes and he was like, "You're someone else."
I could see that happening though. I really could. That's the thing. Like, it was just unbelievable enough. This is why I stand by Mike being a real good storyteller.
Look at the doc.
I'm still kind of pissed.
It explains
Well,
everything.
that was the
Mike,
thing.
I know why you told me this before. Because we had that
Yeah.
plan to do that. I just forgot.
When you guys got on earlier, I said to Lucas, we
Joe, we
muted
were
you
not
guys.
talking
We
about
weren't
Stranger
talking about
Things.
Stranger Things.
Oh my
We were
word.
I was saying, I'm going to go on and on telling this random story
I
about
completely
nothing.
forgot.
That
I was so excited
that
for our
it
special
won't
guest,
make any
MTV's
sense.
Dan Cortese.
And I'm like, just let it go on and like agree with me, like I've told it to you before. And he says, okay. That was why I kept saying, Lucas, I think I told you this before.
You can't expect me to remember things, because we were like, we're going to start, and then we spent an hour fucking around in the dark.
That's true. But
I'm
it's
pissed.
crazy.
I'm real pissed.
I know. Me too.
Oh.
No, but for real thing here, and Joe can be testament to this, because last night I went over to the Wawa. This is part of why I also
Oh, my
thought that
goodness.
Halloween was this week.
Right,
was
right.
because, or I should say last week, because I go over to the Wawa to download a hoagie, and so I'm like sitting there, and this girl, I'm in line, right, and this girl walks, like this whole group of girls walked in. I later found out it was because there was like a big house party around here, and this group of girls is in front of me in line, and the one girl, I like look over, they're all in costume, and I look over, and I see this girl, and I'm thinking, at first I honestly thought that she was not wearing anything from the waist down, because that's what it looked like, and I'm like, oh man, why is she in here right now? Like, that's weird. And so I'm like so confused, and they like cashed out and left or whatever. Like literally, it was like she was not wearing anything from the waist down, but it was a costume, you know.
Yeah,
the
right. Costume.
slutty girl costume.
Yeah, right.
So it wasn't even like a cat or anything. Like, I don't even know what it was. It wasn't anything. It was just it looked like she was wearing lingerie for Halloween. And so I'm like,
I was thinking about going to that.
I was like, oh, this is you were going as lingerie.
It's a very bulky costume of lingerie, though.
But yeah, I was like, I was so confused by that, and the cashier person like has seen me there a couple times, so like she'll talk to me when I'm in there, and so I was like, she saw me looking like really confused, and she's like, yep, that's what happens when you go and get drunk at a house party. And I'm like, I feel as though I'm the only sober person in here right now. And she said, yeah, you probably are.
Oh my word.
She was like, all right, well, will that be all for you? I just like went over and got like a Mountain Dew.
Yeah, I had a fun time soberly enjoying all of the Snap stories this weekend and Instagram posts. Just what a time to be alive. And
well, Jack, I noticed you've deleted something.
Yeah, it was mine, and I had a right to delete it.
These 100 stop signs are also mine, and I have a right to keep them.
What 100 stop signs? Oh my goodness!
There's 100 green stop signs.
It's really fun. I started deleting them, and then as soon as I finished, they started adding more pages. It was actually really impressive, like how fast you were on the uptake.
You have 2 keyboards, you can go real fast.
What?
You heard me. 2 keyboards.
That can't be it.
Well, you got.
I replaced stop sign number 30 with the I want to believe poster. So just please leave it alone.
Thank you. That's acceptable.
Why'd you tell him?
I don't know.
Because I probably would have gone through and deleted them again and gotten a good chortle.
Chortle.
Is it like about time to bring in one of our guest stars? Do you think maybe?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, probably.
Who do you want to bring in?
Toto by Africa.
I mean, Liam Neeson seemed pretty impatient earlier.
Yeah, let me check if he's still on the line. He was like, because he's on the phone call, so.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. No, let me check that real quick. Hey, are you there? Yeah, we're gonna do your segment now. Oh yeah, that's fine. If you want, yeah, just go ahead and hit record. All right, he said he should be on here in a sec. So yeah, you guys can just keep talking until he's on. I don't know what he's doing. No, hit record.
The elderly.
Ah, he's so old.
Hello, mic check. Are you there?
Hello, Mr. Neeson.
Mr. Neeson.
Hello, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing all right. A good old Irishman like you and I should get along real well.
Right.
Wait, Lucas, you're Irish?
Technically?
His last name is McDaniel.
Oh.
That's true.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
So who am I speaking with?
Well, you got Lucas. You've met him, obviously. You know his last name.
Of course.
And you got Jack.
Hello.
And then you got myself.
And,
Joe.
Our friend Mike wasn't here, but for some reason we can only record 4 audio tracks at a time. So he said.
Oh no, I'm still here. I can hear you.
Oh.
I can hear you, Liam. All right, good.
Wait. How do you know Mike, Liam?
Well, he had my phone number because he used to play CS:GO with my son.
Oh.
And apparently, he acquired my number from my son.
Oh, who's your son?
My son?
Yeah.
That's none of your damn business.
Well, I didn't.
Keep your hands in your own pockets, you greasy
Well,
bastard.
I just didn't know. I thought you and Natasha had a son. Am I wrong?
No, that's fine. I just don't like to talk about him. I don't want him getting bad publicity for something that his father said.
It's very considerate
But
of you.
I was just wondering if he was playing with Mikhail or Daniel.
Well, I think that's a little personal, don't you think?
I don't know if I want to get too personal, Liam, but I was just wondering like how your relationship is with
you're right,
your
I'd apologize.
wife, Natasha.
Well, if you keep asking me these questions, I will leave.
Well,
Not only that, I don't know if you want my money. If you do, I can tell you, I do not have it. But what I do have are a particular set of skills. And I will use those skills to hunt you down. And I will find you. And I will kill you.
That's
I think he just hung up on us.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, he just hung up. I just watched him leave.
he probably
feel
got a
bad. I
little
think you
upset
guys
about
offended him.
Natasha, considering she died in
Yeah.
2009.
I really
Yeah, I don't know. You
Wanted
probably
to-
shouldn't have asked him about that.
really wanted
was
to
it
ask
too
how he
soon?
felt.
I
sorry,
mean,
I
it's
shouldn't
been
have
8
laughed.
years.
But yeah, Mike, you
No,
might
but
want to
you-
cut that. That got pretty uncomfortable.
Yeah,
Pretty
that
quick.
was a little weird. I mean,
a little dark,
yeah, I'll probably cut it. I'll if I remember.
if I
Yeah,
remember.
that was. Well, we know he's not coming back on anytime soon, so let's just.
So our next guest, Toto by Africa.
We should probably wait for the guests, let it, cool down a bit.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we can play that song on here.
Oh yeah.
That would-
We're gonna play 13 minutes. I mean, 13 seconds.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Or we could just sing it a cappella.
Dude, oh no!
Okay, cut off.
I
Copyright.
just got a
Copyright cut off.
text from Liam.
What did he say?
He is pissed. He says he's gonna kill you guys. Like, that's not good. You've seen Taken. It's not good. He's gonna find
You've
you.
seen it.
Okay,
Yeah,
then.
that's
Let's get a little bit more lighthearted with our next guest, MTV's Dan Cortese.
All right, cut.